Is the U.S. auto industry heading for a $50 billion crisis?
I don't start a tariff war, but we're going to win this tariff war.
Canada has fired back at U.S. trade policies, threatening to cut off key EV minerals like lithium, nickel, and cobalt, essential for Tesla, Ford, GM, and Rivian. Without them, American automakers could struggle, facing skyrocketing costs and slowed EV production. But the biggest shock? Canada is considering a 100% tariff on U.S. EVs, making Tesla's $5,000 to $10,000 more expensive overnight. With Canada shifting trade ties to Europe and Asia, could this be a permanent economic split? Is North America's auto industry at risk? Please like and subscribe to our channel for the latest updates. Tensions are rising between Canada and the U.S. over trade policies, putting the electric vehicle industry in jeopardy. The U.S. Inflation Reduction Act gives preference to American-made EVs, a move that Canada views as unfair competition. In response, Canada placed heavy tariffs on Chinese EVs in October 2024 and is now considering similar restrictions on U.S. imports. If approved, Tesla prices in Canada could rise significantly, reducing sales. Beyond tariffs, U.S. automakers rely on Canadian minerals like nickel and cobalt for EV production. Any limits on exports could increase manufacturing costs, leading to massive financial losses and disrupting the North American EV market. Canada is a key player in North America's electric vehicle industry, supplying essential battery minerals and serving as a rapidly growing EV market. With vast lithium reserves, Canada is positioned as a major global supplier. The Canadian EV market is expanding fast. Zero-emission vehicles made up 13.4% of new vehicle registrations in Q2 2024, rising to 16.5% in Q3 2024. Tesla's sales in Canada soared from 20,799 units in 2021 to 45,000 in 2022, solidifying its market presence. However, escalating trade tensions could cripple the U.S. auto industry. If Canada restricts mineral exports or imposes tariffs on U.S. EVs, automakers like Tesla, Ford, GM, and Rivian would face soaring production costs and shrinking market share. Experts warn these disruptions could inflict a billion-dollar blow to the U.S. auto sector, threatening North America's EV dominance. The escalating U.S.-Canada trade war could unleash a catastrophe on the American auto industry. Canada is a top supplier of critical EV materials like lithium, nickel, and cobalt, essential for Tesla, Ford, GM, and Rivian. If Canada restricts exports, U.S. automakers would be forced to seek costlier alternatives, raising production costs and slowing EV manufacturing. But the biggest shock? Canada is weighing a 100% tariff on Tesla vehicles, which could skyrocket prices by a significant amount, making Teslas unaffordable for many buyers and shrinking Tesla's market share overnight. The ripple effect? EV sales across North America could plummet, disrupting the green energy shift. Meanwhile, the U.S. has imposed 25% tariffs on Canadian and Mexican auto imports, further raising costs for Ford, GM, and others. If these tensions spiral out of control, the U.S. EV industry could be chaotic, leading to massive job losses and a devastating long-term impact. The U.S. auto industry is facing a major crisis, and the impact could be severe. American automakers like Tesla, Ford, GM, and Rivian depend on Canadian minerals such as lithium, nickel, and cobalt, key materials for EV battery production. However, Canada is pushing back against U.S. trade policies, threatening to restrict mineral exports. If Canada follows through, automakers will be forced to seek costly alternatives, increasing production expenses and slowing EV manufacturing. This could make electric vehicles more expensive, delay environmental goals, and disrupt economic growth in both countries. With tensions rising, the question remains: can the U.S. and Canada reach an agreement before their auto industries suffer irreversible damage? As U.S.-Canada trade tensions escalate, Canadian consumers are retaliating, fueling a growing boycott of American goods. A recent poll reveals that 53% of Canadians are actively avoiding U.S. products, with support strongest among Liberals, 67%, and New Democrats, 70%. This shift has already led to a 10 to 20% drop in demand for American brands in Canadian grocery stores. Supporting the movement, the Buy Beaver mobile app, which helps shoppers identify Canadian-made products, has seen 50,000 downloads in just 1 month. Retailers are also embracing the trend, prominently featuring Shop Canadian signage to steer consumers toward domestic brands. This surge in economic nationalism signals a broader effort to reduce reliance on U.S. goods, further deepening the trade rift. With Canada strengthening its EV sector and shifting trade ties, is this the beginning of a permanent economic break from the US? Canada is taking bold steps to reduce its dependence on the US, a move that could cripple the American auto industry. As trade tensions rise, Canada is actively forging new partnerships with Europe and Asia, negotiating free trade deals with the EU and ASEAN, set to be finalized by 2025. At home, Canada is rapidly expanding its EV sector, strengthening its position as a global leader. The government has teamed up with Frontier Lithium Inc. to increase lithium production and processing, securing its battery supply chain. Meanwhile, Linamar's innovation-driving green technology project is set to create 2,000 jobs and attract $800 million in private EV investments. With Canada shifting away from the US and prioritizing domestic growth, American automakers could lose a vital supplier and market. If this trend continues, it could permanently reshape North America's auto industry, delivering a devastating blow to Tesla and US EV manufacturing. The US-Canada trade war isn't just about Tesla. It threatens the entire North American auto industry, affecting both electric and gasoline-powered vehicles. Automakers like Ford, GM, and Rivian rely on Canadian suppliers for critical components, and the newly imposed 25% tariffs on Canadian and Mexican imports could send production costs soaring. Experts warn vehicle prices could increase, crushing consumer demand and leading to widespread job losses. With auto parts crossing borders multiple times, supply chain disruptions could force plant closures and reduce vehicle output. If trade tensions remain unresolved, the U.S. auto industry faces a catastrophic $50 billion loss, potentially crippling its global competitiveness and derailing North America's EV transition. The ongoing U.S.-Canada trade dispute is pushing auto prices higher, affecting both electric and gas-powered vehicles. The U.S. has imposed steep import taxes on Canadian and Mexican automobiles, raising production costs for major automakers like Ford and GM. The EV sector is particularly at risk, as rising costs could slow adoption and disrupt environmental targets. Automakers that rely on Canadian resources, such as nickel and cobalt, may face higher supply costs, leading to further price hikes. The U.S. auto industry is staring at massive financial setbacks, threatening thousands of jobs and economic stability. If this trade war escalates, consumers will bear the burden of inflated prices, and the industry could suffer long-term damage. A resolution is crucial to avoid crippling North America's auto sector. This U.S.-Canada trade war isn't just about Tesla. It's a battle that could cripple the entire North American auto industry. With tariffs, soaring costs, and supply chain chaos, the stakes have never been higher. Will the two nations strike a deal, or are we witnessing a permanent economic split that could derail EV growth and cost billions? What's your take? Should the US and Canada find common ground, or is this a turning point in global trade? Drop your thoughts in the comments, subscribe, and stay locked in for real-time updates.